this lesson is on volume of cylinders, and we're going to take what we learned from last lesson, finding the volume of prisms, and we're going to apply it to this lesson right here, volume of cylinders. It's the same thing as what we did the previous lesson. As you can see, we have our volume formula, our generic formula. Looks the same, area of the base times the height. Okay, now if you look at a cylinder, the difference is a cylinder has a circular base. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to change this capital B, and we're going to make it more specific, and we're going to use pi r squared, because pi r squared is how you find the area of a circle. So this layer right here, pi r squared, tells us how much one layer is, and then we multiply it by the height, which tells us how many layers there are. Okay, let's take a look at an example. Find the volume of the cylinder and round to the nearest tenth. Okay, well, like you did in the previous lesson, we're actually going to start with capital B times h. And then we're going to make it more specific right here, pi r squared. So if you take a look, our radius is 5, okay, and our height is 8.3. So we're going to take pi, or 3.14, times our radius squared, okay, we're just plugging in, times the height of our cylinder, which is 8.3. Plug that into your calculator, and we get 651.9 cubic centimeters. Okay. Now again, it's the same thing as what we did with prisms. Okay. Actually, we could call a cylinder a circular prism, but we just choose to use the word cylinder here. Okay. All right. Here's another example. Find the volume of a cylinder with a diameter of 16 inches and a height of 20 inches. Round to the nearest tenth. Okay, here's your formula. Pi r squared, which gives you the base, times the height. Okay, now they tell us that the diameter is 16 inches. But for our area formula, we need the radius. So that's why we take it times 8, because the radius is 8 squared. So don't forget to look at that. If they give you the diameter, you've got to change it to radius. So we take 3.14 times r squared, 8 squared, times the height, which is 20. And our answer is about. Now you see this word about, okay? That's why we use this little sign right here. This is approximately, because we rounded pi. We typed it in as 3.14. Okay, remember when we were doing our circles, we left it as two answers in terms of pi and an approximate answer because we had to round. Okay? Why don't you guys try a problem right here? Do your got it problem. Okay, here's your base, which is a circle. Your radius is 3 and your height is 1.8. So right now, pause the video and try your got it problem. Okay. So let's see. You should have started with your generic formula. Okay. V equals capital B times H. Then take this capital B and make it specific to our cylinder. We're going to take this capital B out and replace it with pi r squared. Okay. Then let's plug in what we know. Our radius is 3, our height is 1.8. Okay. So you should end up with an answer of 50.9 inches cubed. And again, I used the approximately sign because we rounded that pi, we use it as 3.14. Okay, over here you have another example. Okay, they tell you the diameter is 12, the height is 5. So again, we're starting with our generic formula, then we're taking this capital B and making it pi r squared. Let's plug in what you know. Okay, again, they give us the diameter here, so we have to make it 6 for our radius. Plug it into the calculator. You should have approximately 565.2 millimeters cubed, and that's the volume of that cylinder. Okay. Let's look at another example here. A metal paperweight is in the shape of a cylinder. The paperweight has a height of 1.5 inches and a diameter of 2 inches. How much does a paperweight weigh if 1 square inch weighs 1.8 ounces? Okay, so here what they wanted you to do, again, we have to find the volume of the cylinder. Okay, So once you find the volume of the cylinder, then you're going to have to multiply it. If 1 square inch weighs 1.8 ounces, you're going to take your final answer, which is 4.7, and multiply it by 1.8, and that's going to tell you how much the paper weight is. Okay? You know, you've got a got it problem that is very similar. So go ahead and try this problem, and if you need help, go back and look at the previous example. So pause the video and try this problem. Now, if they give us a word problem and they don't have a picture, a lot of times I will go ahead and I will draw a cylinder. I'll just sketch one really quick just to make sure I have all the pieces and parts in the right spot. So I went ahead and here's my cylinder. Okay, it tells me that the diameter is 1.5 and the height is 4. So what we need to do is let's find the volume of this cylinder first. There's your generic formula. Here's your specific formula. Let's plug in what we know. Okay, now this 7.5 squared came from the diameter. It's half of the diameter. So that's where this 7.5 came from. Multiply it out and we get approximately 7.1 feet cubed. Now, that's the volume. It tells you right here that the can is 37 ounces per square foot. Well, we've got 7.1 square feet. So if we take 7.1, multiply it by 37 ounces, the total weight should be 262.7 ounces. Okay? Let's look at one more example. Okay, volume of a composite solid. Composite solid is an object that is made up of one or more type of solid. Okay, so they're kind of combining two different geometric solids. If you look at the example here, here's a composite solid where we have a rectangular prism, but then we have a cylinder on the inside. That's a composite solid. The example says Tanya uses cube-shaped beads to make jewelry. Each bead has a circular hole through the middle. Find the volume of each bead. So what this is actually a picture of a bead, and it's got a cylinder through the middle so that you could, put string through it to make a bracelet or something. So we want to find the volume of this. Well, to do that, what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to find the volume of the prism, which was what we learned last lesson, and find the volume of the cylinder. Then what we have to do is once we have those two volumes, we're going to have to take the volume of the cylinder and subtract it out of the prism because that piece is gone from this composite solid. So if you take a look, here is the volume of the rectangular prism. Okay, 12 times 12 times 12, or 1,728. The cylinder, okay, is pi times 1 squared, which is the radius, times 12, which is the height, or 37.7. So what we've got to do is take this volume and subtract this volume, the cylinder, and then you get a final answer of 1,690.3 cubic millimeters. So let's try the got it problem that you have. Okay, it's a little different than that example, but it's still a composite solid. It says the Service Club is building models of storage chests like the one shown to donate to charity. Find the volume of the chest to the nearest tenth. Okay, so you've got two solids here that make up this composite. You've got a rectangular prism and you've got this cylinder, but it's half of a cylinder. Okay, so if you find the volume of this half cylinder and the prism, add them together, that's going to be your total volume for this composite solid. So go ahead, pause the video, and try this to find the volume of this composite solid. Okay, let's start with the rectangular prism first. Okay. Oops. Let's see where I'm at here. Okay. Oh, I'm going to move that up a little bit. Okay. V equals capital B times H. Okay, we're going to take out that capital B, the area of the base, and we're going to replace it with length times width. So length times width times the height, or 25 times 50 times 30. And again, if you have these two reversed, it's okay. That's not a big deal. Okay, and we should end up with 37,500 centimeters cubed. Now that's just for the rectangular prism. let's find the volume of this half cylinder up here. Okay. Alright, let me write in that generic formula. It's there, but it's underneath. I promise. There we go. Okay. Pi r squared times h. Now, your radius, here's your diameter, right? If you think if that circle would swing down, here's your diameter. So your radius is going to be half of that. Okay, so half of 25 is 12.5. So we're going to take 3.14 times 12.5 squared times the height of our cylinder, which is 50. Okay? Multiply that out, you get 24,531.3. But we have to divide it by 2 because it's only half of a cylinder. Okay, do you see how they cut that right in half? So if you take our volume and divide it by 2, you get 12,265.6. So these are our two volumes. So to find the composite solid, all we have to do is take these two volumes right here and right here, add them together. Let's get these out of the way. And here should be your final answer. 49,765.6 centimeters cubed. Okay? Our next lesson will be on finding the volume of pyramids and cones, which are very similar to prisms and cylinders. Go ahead and try your guided practice problems, and we'll check them in class.